Hello there everybody, your audience. My name is Supersonic Blur and welcome to another deck building. Today we're going to be going over Newer because Newer just got a load of new shiny stuff. And so we're going to be playing with that new shiny stuff because that's fun. So this deck we're going to be looking at, it's more sort of control-y, tempo-y. You're looking to definitely hard control and commit the board. It definitely runs towards the later game. Just because you can generate resources yourself, so spamming that leader ability and just pinging things away is pretty good. Yeah, that's the general idea of the deck. So let's get into building said deck. For that, we're going to need Newer because, well, you know, it's a Newer deck. So the first thing we are going to add is we're going to add in 2 Contemplation, or Contemplation, sorry. The reason I do this is because it is a 1 mana proc 3 times off your spell things. I like this. I think it works very nicely. It can be a dead draw at times. It's either a dead draw or a win more. I can understand if people take this out. Personally, though, I still like running it. It can be very useful when you're securing the board. So that's quite nice. So I will run 2 of those. You can, if you want, run 2 Crescent Blades instead. The idea behind this is, well, Crescent Blade, you just ping 1 damage. It costs 1 mana rather than 2 for the turn that you use it, so you can gain a little bit of tempo from that regard. Plus also, nobody really expects you to run Crescent Blade when you can add Crescent Blade to your hand, so you can get a little bit one up on that. Either way, Contemplation or Crescent Blade both offer the same thing. The next thing we're going to add is a Rushing Thunder. The reason why I like adding Rushing Thunder is because even if Norse took a bit of a hit, you're still going to see a lot of 1/1 spam potentially. And Rushing Thunder can be really nice just as I need to hit 1 damage on a load of stuff. So Rushing Thunder can be a nice solid way of getting a bit of board damage, or sorry, a bit of board clear through on some early turns. So I will run 2 of those. Next up, we are going to run the Master of Tempo, and that is Habois. Habois, even if you drop him down kind of fairly early, you sit him in the back line as a 2/1. He returns something back to your opponent's hand. So if you imagine reducing the cost of this card by that, even if it was only a 2-drop, you reduce it by that much, and then you have the initiative on that. That is what Habois is designed to do. He is he's an initiative providing card. So we pick him up and we shove him into the deck because that's what we do. Next, we're going to go over the neutral side of things. We are going to, of course, be running the standard Imperial stuff, but first we're going to add in 2 Chaos Spawns. Silencing stuff is so useful and strong, so we're going to do that. Not going to add in Brotus. Nobody wants a Brotus. So yeah, we're going to add in that 2 Chaos Spawn. The next thing we're going to add is double Imperial Archer because it's Imperial Archer. This just works so well with the deck. And 2 Imperial Guard. The reason you run Imperial Guard is because you can trade up on stuff, gaining +1 attack every spell. You can use this to efficiently trade off much bigger things, trade up very efficiently into bigger things and not die for it just by using your hero power. So that's very, very strong. You can trade up into a 4 attack, a 4 health minion or god or whatever with this, because you just ping it, it's on 3, and then you hit it, and you don't take return damage, so you get a lot of free trades, and that's very strong tempo on the board, and it also is very good at controlling said board. Now that we've gone over that, the next card that we're going to add in is Projection. In the exact same vein as trading up stuff, this enables you to do that same sort of thing. It's, oh, I just need to hit something from the back line. You know, I've got an Alquang in the back, that's 4 damage. Projection lets you punch 5 because of the +1 into something further away. So this gives you a little bit of reach, and as well, it's a spell. So we're going to run 2 of those. Not Habois, we've already put you in there. Next thing we're going to add in is Shongar. Shongar just lets this deck run absolutely rampant because you hoard a load of Crescent Blades. Even if turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3, you Crescent Blade, turn 4, you can drop Shongar down and deal 3 damage square straight away. That's very strong. That can be just controlling the board so fantastically. You do lose a little bit of tempo by constantly hero powering and not using them, But that being said, you do then get them for that turn. Sometimes it's better to use the Crescent Blades straight away. If you're facing something like a Ra, it's better to hold them because the last thing you need to do is to hit something and then him heal it up. Though, tempo play-wise, you can do that, but it could be, there are better things to do. Next thing we're going to run is Zhongqi. What Zhongqi enables you to do is this turns that whole idea of controlling the board and being like, yeah, I'm going to control the board. Let me just control the board really hard and make a bomb. Be careful when you use this card. Throwing this onto an empty board or you have no minions on the board, not really the best thing for Zhongqi, unfortunately, because Zhongqi can just have a tendency to die, and if you don't get hold of the second one, the Demon Bag is just a dead card in your hand at that point. And then you cry, and that makes you sad. But running 2 of these is pretty much a must, because you want to make sure that you can get that Demon Bag as big as possible. Dropping this thing slightly later on into the game can just be beneficial as well when you start really wanting to try and hard control the board. So we're going to run 2 of those. Now we're going to run 2 Ao Kuang because it's Ao Kuang. Dealing that additional spell damage is fantastic. It means that at absolute worst, Zhongqi's spell becomes a 2 mana, deal 1 damage. It's not the best, but it's still an option if absolute must. So we're going to run 2 of that. Next thing we're going to run 2 of is going to be that, that 1 of is going to be that Guan Yu. If you could run 2 Guan Yus, that'd be amazing, but you can't, unfortunately. So we're going to run Guan Yu. The reason we're running Guan Yu here is because we want to try and use this card to, again, just control the board. Every time you hit 1 damage into something, now it takes 1 damage into every other enemy unit, meaning that you do 2 damage to one thing and 1 damage to everything else. That is amazing! So we're going to run Guan Yu. Now, the next thing we're going to want to run is a little bit of draw power. Again, this is kind of slow-ish draw that we're going to look at right now, but I personally really like it, and that is War Behemoth. Reason you run this is because, absolute worst, this is a 5 mana, deal 5 damage, draw a card. That's okay as a card. It's not the fastest card because it has to wait a little bit of time, but that is the potential of the card. At best, in this deck, it's going to be 5 mana, 5 mana, draw 6 cards. Well, admittedly, you're gonna ping that down, so you can use this efficiently. War Behemoth gives you a little bit more steam to keep going with that tempo stuff, lets you draw in deeper into the deck, and that's fantastic. A lot of decks, consistency comes in twofold. One, it's how often or likely you are to end up in a situation where certain cards become active and more viable. The other one is how quickly you can cycle through your deck. This card cycles cards very quickly, and so as a result, that's fantastic, and we stick one of those in. I only stick one of them in just because the 5-drop is already kind of big with the Ao Kuangs and Guan Yus, so I don't stick too much in regards to that. Next thing we're going to want to do is run that Dragon King. Dragon King is just mass board clear. It's a spell as well. 3 damage to an enemy and then damage 3 to all enemies in on the same row. If I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I've actually got to play the card, you will end up dealing 6 to 1 and 3 to everything else in the row. Amazing card, absolutely amazing. Really just enables you to close out a game because you can hit this on the enemy summoning stone, which is fantastic. So we're going to drop that in there. Next thing we're going to want to drop in there is going to be, what is the next thing we're going to drop in there? I'm missing some stuff I think of here by the looks of it. But the next thing we're going to want to drop in here is you're going to want to drop in a Blade Master, and you're going to also want to drop in a Fire Giant. Let me just quickly check and see what I am missing here, because I am missing something. Okay then, so I fixed it up. It doesn't look like I was actually missing anything. It looks like it was actually just a little bit of a glitch with the software. I'm not entirely sure why it was, but as I was saying, once we get that War Behemoth in there, next thing is going to be Dragon King. Once we finish off Dragon King, we put in a Blade Master, and we drop ourselves a Fire Giant. The reason we do this is because Blade Master and Fire Giant give us a nice bit of tempo. They're very fast tempo as well. You have Charge coming onto the board, very, very strong, very, very quick. And you have Fire Giant coming in, again, 4 fast damage off the 2 Fire Imps, and then 5 Cleave is very, very strong. Having these cards be very, very fast is what you want. And that's kind of what the deck does, is it kind of takes it a little bit slow, and then it ramps up towards the later stages of the game. The early game is all about just trying to control that tempo. Rushing Thunder lets you kind of do that. Chaos Spawn stops something big being a problem for you if it's early. Hawa throws it back into your opponent's hand if they've buffed it a lot. Imperial Archer lets you start picking in lots of additional spaces of damage. Guard lets you trade up. Projection lets you trade in without losing the minion on the board. Chungar lets all your spells cost less, and so you can use those more in tempo with stuff. Zhongqi becomes literally a detonation in your hand if he's not dealt with, so because of that. And then you just run the usual package of Ao Kuang and Guan Yu because they're amazing. So from that regard, you do it. If there are some of these cards that you do not have, then I will suggest alternatives for them. Couple alternatives are things like Siphon Mind. Just 2 damage to the enemy summoning stone, draw a card early. That can be quite useful. If you want to try and just run in something to try and get yourself a little bit earlier draw, it's fine. And late, it's kind of mediocre, but okay. It cycles itself in top decking modes and deals 2 damage to the enemy summoning stone, so it can be an out to the game, if that makes any sense. Other things you can dropping Contemplation for the Crescent Blades, I already mentioned. In terms of the bigger stuff, dropping them out. If you don't have things like Dragon King or some of the later game stuff, Baboon is a perfectly fine card to run as well. It's very high control. This really pushes the more of a control side of things with this deck. Guard is very impactful very quickly, meaning that you have to deal with the Baboon. So from that regard, that could be quite strong. If you wanted to run some other minions, then let's have a look and see what else you could run. Chao Fang's still a card that you could run if you so chose. There's perfectly fine to say with that regard. Looking at other things, though, there's not really too much that you'd want to necessarily look at in other than a Chinese. You could try out Nemean Lion. I haven't got around to testing it yet, but it's a beast, so you could do that. But either way, that's the deck. Hopefully I'll have on screen sort of the stat line for it, which I'll then throw back up at the end of the video. But until then, it's time for us to get in a game and see how this deck runs. Alright then, so we are in game. It looks like we are going to be going first, and we are going against another Noir. This makes me feel very happy. So, in terms of stuff that we're keeping, I'm going to drop the Chungar and the Rushing Thunder. These decks aren't particularly big. I'm going to keep Hawa just in case. Just in case we get a Chungar back to hand, which isn't the worst thing. So all we're going to do is do this. There's nothing to throw on that, so that's fine. Again, we just hoard cards. That's fine by me. Hoarding cards is perfectly fine by me. How many do we have in hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this makes 7. And we're fine with this. We are absolutely fine with this. Straight up, we are just fine with hoarding cards. We want him to play something. If he plays anything with 2 or less health, he knows it dies. So he plays the Imperial Guard. Smart move. Smart move. Let's see. What do I want to do? I know he has one. He has one in hand. And he can then spawn a second one next turn. So anything with 2 or less health would die. And the Imperial Guard would die to the Imperial Guard. If I throw the Imperial Guard back, it doesn't do anything, but it does hold tempo. Dropping Chungar into the backline doesn't necessarily do anything either, and he can just power it up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a slightly weird play here. And that's going to be, I'm going to throw out Hawa. I'm just going to throw it up. My reason for this is because it wastes his turn. The initiative's back to me. The initiative will go to him when he summons the Imperial Guard again, if he so chooses to do so. It looks like he's going to go with the Chungar, though, which would be very, very powerful for him. This was my other option, was to think, do I just want to tap this turn? Tapping this turn wouldn't have been too bad either. If he was going to Chungar this turn, though, he would have done that backwards. So he's just going to tap. And again, you just hold. You just hold a long time. You just hold for very long periods of time. I'm going to drop down War Behemoth this turn, because it's a big, big body. And we know he has lots of things in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, silence. Pulled out a silence. That's fantastic. Absolutely. That is fantastic. Perfectly happy with that. Perfectly happy with that. And we got the Mana Potion as well, so this is going to be the Imperial Guard. Smart Boy did not play it on the same row as the, what was it? As this, because he knows that Dragon King is a card, so that was smart play by him. Can I, this turn, get away with, what can I get away with doing? If I Chunga this turn, I can kill that for free, which isn't the most useful thing in the world to do. This is just now a big body, so what can I do with this? This is what I want to deal with this turn if possible. Can I do that? Sort of. I can drop this into the back line, and then just deal this to it. And then what I will do is I'll just throw this up here. It's fine. This dies to this now with one ping, but it leaves that on the board. So what he should do right now is he should use a spell to try and get as much tempo as possible. That should be his move, is to use that spell. Yep, there we go. And he should use... he'll use that one. Don't quite know why, but that's fine. This turn for me then is not too bad. Oh, thank you. Oh, that feels so good. So I get this. Now I get this. And now I hit this. And you see again that just bonk. And now this is where my tempo is in my hands. I hold the initiative right now. So that I'm perfectly fine with. What is he going to do, though, is the important question. He's going to use his other silence. That's fantastic. Perfectly fine with that. Now he has his Chonga. What he has just done there is... How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? Because I can use Ao Kuang, the Crescent Blade and Crescent Blade in hand, to kill that, which wouldn't be bad. Or I could just use Dragon King and kill everything on the board. Deals 3 to everything. So it would throw that into there. I could just use a Crescent Blade. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I don't see a better turn to do it particularly. And it also lets me double check my theory with something. And that's gonna be 3 there, and then 3 there. So yeah, it does do 6 damage to whatever you hit it on, which is nice. So I got 6 damage into that. I throw off the tempo. Initiative is still mine. I have Fire Giant next turn, which can be very, very fast. He has Fire Giant this turn, which is somewhat painful, but not too big of a problem. Shouldn't be anyway, because he doesn't have the Crescent Blade to punish me with. Projection. If only the Woodpecker would cry, I could play that this turn. Let's see. Can I kill that this turn? Can I do 8 damage to that minion? I can do 5. Actually, yes, I think I can. If I Ao Kuang Projection and deal 1 damage, that's 2. Yeah, I can do it. It won't be the prettiest, but I can do it. Do I want to do that, is the question. I think the answer is more than likely a yes. My question is how badly. I think I will do it because it just controls the board. And again, so I want to throw this there. So that deals 3. Then we use the Crescent Blade from hand. Bonk. And then we do this. It did cost me 9 mana to do with an 8 mana card. However, tempo is still in my control. And that's all I want. I can go very light on the board this turn. Or very heavy on the board this turn, I should say. Without too much of a problem. I can, whatever he plays... I can deal with efficiently for the most part. Dragon King would only kill that, which I'm, well, upset at. Wouldn't be the worst thing. Decrepit Bowman is an interesting one. That is most certainly an interesting one. I think that this is the turn where what we do is we drop our own Chonga again. We projection into the back line a bit. Yeah, I think we projection... in the back line, because we don't really want to be dealing with that. And what we do is we do this, and the reason I'm going to do... I'm not actually going to attack that, I don't think. No, I'm not going to attack that. I could Crescent Blade it, but I don't see a reason to right now. He's going to get a Sagittarius and get a Bastet off that. That's actually pretty nasty for me. So, let's see. What do I do this turn? If I could get... let's see. If I could choose what card I drew this turn, what would I choose? It's actually a good question. What would I choose? I guess I'd probably choose one of my Imperial... Yeah, he's going to now just start pinging that because he knows that that's going to be the problem for him. The Bastard I can kill off on the board, and then I can throw out Fire Giant. I think I might want to just throw out Fire Giant and Crescent Blaze this turn. The Chaos Spawn isn't bad. I could Chaos Spawn this, which would be okay, I guess. This is why I might be dropping Contemplation. I might suggest dropping Contemplation for something else, just because it's kind of dead right now. What do I want to do? If I silence the 1/1, I get left with 3 1/1s, but they're all melee, and I'm kind of fine with that. So I'm going to do this. Then what I'm going to do is... if I move it forward, do I really lose anything from it? Yes, I do. So what I'm going to do then is this. Then I'm just going to drop that down. And... I guess... If I kill the cats, this dies indefinitely. If I don't kill the cats, it dies indefinitely anyway. So the Imperial Guard dies. Unfortunately, that was just poor on my part. I should have played it up top. That was not me thinking smart. But it's okay. It still eats a bunch of damage. I really need my Imperial Archers. This is the Baboon. This is why Baboon is very strong. What was he going to do here? Oh, projection. Interesting. Alright. Well. So that means he's most likely going to use... Yeah, there's the Crescent Blades now. Is he going to go... No, he's not even going to go face. He's not even going to go face. What a dirty boy. Alright. Well... Cats kill off this. That thing ate a load of cats, which is nice. He's going to punch that down there so that I can't do anything with it. I think this is probably a Fire Giant turn. By the looks of it, it looks like a Fire Giant turn for sure. This can... it either hits there or it hits there. Either way, it dies to a... It doesn't die to a ping, actually, by doing this. It dies to that, but I have to be okay with that at that point. Yeah... And Fire Giant just starts making big things. Last couple cards in my deck are not the worst things for me to see. I've got another Ao Kuang. I've got another Hwa if there's something I really don't want to deal with. Where can I put this that doesn't get hit? So that can go up to there. 1, 2, 3. So up to there. So this can move to there. Or, yeah, it can move to there. And then we just Crescent Blade. And we're going to Crescent Blade now. The reason we're Crescent Blading now is because I want to make sure this is at 5. I want to make sure I get the additional damage off from Ao Kuang. So from that regard, that's why I'm doing that. Next couple moves aren't the worst. It's just these Contemplations might just be dead right now. There's the very fast damage that I talked about with where you run a Blade Master. If Blade Master goes into the 4/4, then... Oh, you just gave me free out to doing a lot of damage. Alright, so now we get a really nice play this turn. We get Zhongqi out, and now 2 minions will die this turn, which is pretty good, honestly, because what it means is, not only do I get free damage into this and this, but everything on the board has died from his regard. That goes in as well. Now we're just going to start really trying to ratchet up as much as we can. Zhongqi being in the backline, that feels amazing. 2 damage, and we got all that. That was a fantastic misplay from his regard. Imperial Archer isn't going to do enough this turn, even if it does hit some big stuff. Thankfully it doesn't. It hits the Zhongqi in the backline. Oh, is he going to sack me? He has a 1 in 25% chance, and he gets it! He gets it! He got the massive chance. Oh, wow. Wow. That was insane. However, this still does 2 damage, which is pretty nice for me. So what I'm going to do is deal that 2 damage now. Get that out of the way. Next thing I'm going to do is use that to get that in there. And now we're just going to start trying to push as much damage as we can, as quickly as we can. Because I think we've won this now. We still have the Chungar, we still have the Contemplation in hands. If I get an Imperial Archer at some point in the last 9 cards in the deck, then that'll be pretty good. I would expect to see this die this turn. So let's see, what have we got left? We got an Ao Kuang, a Zhongqi, a Hobwa, and 2 Imperial Archers that I know of. Everything else I think is spells, and that's 2 Rushing Thunders. I think that's everything. I think that's everything. Let's see. 2 Rushing Thunders, 2 Imperial Archers, Ao Kuang. That's 5 out of 9. A Contemplation. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know why he's running Decrepit Bowman. That confuses me a bit. That just straight up confuses me. Yeah, I'm probably going to drop the Contemplation. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I don't know quite why you would throw back Blade Master to my hand. That just gives me another free not only healing, but also damage to the stone. So I'll take that. I'm going to hold off on playing either of those just in case we get that Decrepit Bowman. Play it again. Play another Hobwa. Do it. Oh no, he's going to go for his War Behemoth. Oh, he has a golden one. That makes me sad. I want a golden one. Yeah. So he's just going to punch that. Get the 2 going off. I like the call to let it die so that there's more things on the board. What can I do this turn that actually hurts him? Let's see. Well, this dies pretty much forever. So I guess if I play Alquan, do I want to play the Chunga? No, I don't think I do. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do this. My reason for doing this is because I want to push this further down here, just so it becomes more annoying. This goes in front here, but I'm fine with that. I just need to find a way to hit 1 damage into face. And there are ways. Oh, he's going to projection that. That's very nice. Very nice high tempo from that. Very nice tempo. I should potentially still win this even if this game goes hyper late and we both start, like, top decking. Oh, interesting. Okay, so let's see what I do this turn. I drop Chunga. I drop it down close. I have to drop down Chunga close, and I have to drop down Hobwa this turn. That much is a necessity. Because I just need to. Then what we do is we do this, and we do this. This cannot hit either one of those 2. That dies, and then that goes in front, yes. But eventually, we're going to draw a freaking Imperial Bowman. And that will be amazing. That should still die. There we go. His is a very late game. Very greedy. If all else fails, I will just fatigue him out at this point. Alright, Chaos Spawn is not great, but it's a card. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try and fatigue the guy a bit, because it's fun. I'm going to drop... I'm just going to drop the Chaos Spawn. My reason for dropping Chaos Spawn is I want a minion on the board. I do not want to... silence this. I want to fatigue him out at this point, because that will be very good. Ooh, that's very good for him. Very nice for him. And the tempo here is what's holding him in this game. And this is what Noir decks do. They put a lot of tempo through very quickly. Very, very quickly. I finally got an Imperial Archer, which means what I can do here is get a load of spells. Alright, so he's drawn, he's down on 1. What I'm going to now do is just constantly fire these off and see where they go. If I hit there. Alright, I have a very good chance here. Alright, so let's see. He has 6, 8... let's see, he has 6, 8, 9 damage on board. I just need a way to do damage. This is very, very close right now.
I'll use your powers against you.
Wow, he has... Why has he got Suku in his deck? That confuses me. Not entirely sure on that. So there's no cards in his deck left. Ooh. Oh my god.
Rat.
Okay.
Time to slip.
I don't know if I can do this. Damn it! Oh no! Wait, is there any way I can... any way? I don't think there's any way. Oh no! No, this game! You've got to be kidding me. This game came down to literally him being on 1 health. No way. No way. That is insane. Wow.
Good game.
That was an amazing game. No, wait. He can't win. He can't do it. He misplayed. Wait. No way. You misplayed. He misplayed. Oh my god, he misplayed so hard.
Rat.
Oh my god. I'm gonna sack him. Watch this hit that. I didn't even hit it. That's a shame. Wow. I should not have won that game. Oh my god, that was amazing. He pushed a minion forward for no reason, and it lost him that. But that's what Noir does. That's actually 2 Noir games in a back-to-back that you saw that, and 2 slightly different variants. So, gonna quickly just edit up the build just a little bit because there are cards in there which honestly did not work too well, and that was the Contemplation. As good as it is and the idea is, it's just a little bit too slow, so I'm going to swap that out for 2 Siphon Mind. My reason for swapping this out for Siphon Mind is fairly simple. I want early draw. Early draw is amazing. Other things, it's doing it again. There's a current glitch right now where you can't see other cards in the deck. So, for example, I do have in this deck, I do have things like Fire Giant and stuff, but you just can't see it. Hopefully I'll have it on screen now anyway, so you'll be able to look at the cards. So from that regard, things should be okay. If you want, you can run a lot greedier a build. You just drop out things, you drop out certain things from the deck. The Jonqui you can look at dropping out if you so choose. Like I said, Jonqui is kind of he either works really well or he doesn't, but it worked reasonably well from what I've seen so far, and he's still an okay card. If you're going to cut it out, you can go a lot greedier. You can drop out. If you're going to drop it out, drop the 2 Jonqui, go greedier, go Blade Master and a Baboon. That will really just make the deck run a lot greedier and heavier in the later game. Like I said, this is looking for tempo, it's looking for mid-game, and it's looking to try and use the very early stages of going into late to really just try and force itself out. I lost that game on the late game, and I won that game because of a huge misplay. That being said, though, I'll take it. That was a great game to watch. I hope you guys give this deck a try. Let me know any tweaks or changes that you have made and your successes and failures with this deck. You know, just like I do for the Smite stuff, I want to create a pool of knowledge for the player base to come to and be like, hey, you know, this is where I learned out a load of stuff. This is where we tried out a bunch of decks and all that kind of stuff. So, leave them in the comment section down below, and if there's any particular kind of deck that you want me to take a look at in regards with this series. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, my name has been Supersonic Blur. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and favorite for more, and to share this stuff so people know that it exists. You guys have been a fantastic audience, and I shall see you all next time.